Hello and welcome to your detailed update report on the latest real estate market trends for Dufferin County, Orangeville, and Shelburne for December of 2023. In typical fashion, December's numbers show a slowdown in sales and new inventory as we all shifted focus and prepared for the holidays. But what was surprising, however, is the fact that average sale price increased in many areas compared to December 2022. So in this video, we're going to cover detailed market stats for Dufferin County and of course break down Orangeville and Shelburne, Ontario as well, comparing month over month and year over year. Plus make sure you stick around to the end of this video where I'll update you when the next interest rate announcement is and explain the new changes to Canadian real estate that just came into effect on January 1st, 2024. So let's jump right in. To get started, let's take a look at what type of market we're sitting in for each area. Naturally, in December, we saw a decrease in new inventory and sales, but despite these drastic drops, months of inventory actually remained virtually unchanged compared to last month. Dufferin County, well, we remained in a seller's market, but are sitting right on the cusp of a balanced market at 4.9 months of inventory. Orangeville continues in a strong seller's market at only 2.8 months of inventory, since the lack of sales seemed to balance out the lack of new inventory. And in Shelburne, while we did see a slight decrease down to 9.3 months, we still remain well into a buyer's market with all of the overflow of inventory. Average prices. So of course, the average price can help us understand patterns in the real estate market and maybe even spot when it's a good or bad time to buy or sell. But what's important to remember is what you're comparing it to and how many sales are being used to generate these averages. In some cases, like Shelburne, you're going to see there just simply isn't enough sales to provide us a true representation. So starting with Dufferin County, the average home price for all types of home did rise 0.4% to $929,434 in December. Of course, this is great news. However, when we compare it to the same time last year, the average for Dufferin County is actually down 6.1%. In Orangeville, we saw an average price of $749,732 for December, which I found to be quite low. But when I broke it down, looking at the numbers and what the sales were, it's because the majority of sales were older, smaller homes, about 1,100 to 1,500 square feet, and an increase in attached housing. So of course, this is no surprise that we're down 4.4% from last month, but actually up 4.6% compared to December of 2022. So essentially we remained pretty much the same. And in Shelburne, the numbers do show a whopping 9.4% increase, which brought the average to $849,007. Now, while I do feel this is pretty accurate for detached homes in Shelburne, I really don't feel that it represents the market as a whole. So again, when I broke it down, there was only 6 sales. So of those 6 sales, one home did sell for $1.45 million, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around. And then there's a huge gap, and the remaining 4 all sold for less than $800,000. So clearly, this is why we're seeing such a big misleading jump. And again, there just weren't enough sales to really represent what the true average would be. List to sale price ratio. So Dufferin County as a whole did see a 1% decrease down to 95% of list price. But again, when you consider that these are rural properties, which can be quite unique and difficult to price, it tends to make sense that there's a bit of extra wiggle room for negotiations there. Orangeville and Shelburne both remained exactly the same as last month at a steady 97%. So this indicates that pricing is generally pretty on par with market value, but buyers were still able to negotiate up to 3% off of list price. And of course, this is a great tool for anyone that's sitting on the sidelines considering putting in an offer and you're not really sure where to begin your negotiations. Refer to the list to sale price ratio and start there. Days on market. So of course, it's only natural that due to the weather and many different holidays during December, homes take a little longer to sell. Many people even take their homes off the market temporarily so they can enjoy the holidays without having to worry about keeping everything spick and span and all of those last minute showings. So Dufferin County did experience a 22% increase to an average of 44 days on market. No surprise. But what was surprising is that Orangeville remained the same at 31 days on market. Shelburne saw a slight decrease of 2.7%, which took our days on market down to 36. Interest rates. So market expectations lean towards the possibility that the Bank of Canada is going to pivot to rate cuts later in the year. The specific timing and pace, though, are still unknown, but undoubtedly this will be a really welcome change to new buyers and the estimated 60% of new homeowners that are facing a renewal within the next 3 years. Now, currently, mortgage rates sit anywhere between 4.79 to 6.4%, of course, depending whether you land A side or B side, and of course, higher if you do have to go private. Now, the next interest rate announcement, which we're all very eager for, is going to be held by the Bank of Canada on January 24th at 10 a.m. So overall, things are as expected. December was quite slow, but pricing remains stable compared to last year. And already in January, buyer confidence is back with an uptick in showings, and new inventory is already starting to trickle back in, leading us to anticipate a strong and fairly fast-paced spring market. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines and you're thinking about making a move, honestly, the time to act is now. If I were the one in the market, I would absolutely be aiming to get into my new home before the spring market boom, as that will undoubtedly come with an increase in price. But as I just mentioned, it may not necessarily come with that decrease in interest rates that we're hoping for just yet. It's always important to remember that real estate is all about the short-term pain versus long-term gain. And history has proven time and time again that lower purchase prices are far more important and save you a lot more money in the long term than a slight decrease in interest rates. Now, at the beginning of this video, I did also mention that there were more changes made, but this time to Canadian real estate. And it has to do with how we handle coming soon and exclusive listings. So as of January 1st of 2024, real estate agents are no longer allowed to market any property as coming soon for more than 3 days before it goes live on the MLS system. Now, this is basically been put in place to avoid realtors using coming soon listings as a way of free, or in some cases, even false advertising to gain new buyer leads. So just prepare yourself if you are listing your home that your coming soon sign may need to be a little delayed. Now, the other change that has come into play is regarding exclusive listings. Many people don't know what these are, but essentially they are listings that are on the market but cannot be put on the MLS system. And previously, agents were allowed to publicly market these properties basically to benefit the realtors. Where a lot of people don't understand the big difference is that if you are an agent that has a qualified buyer, you can't show them that property. So it seems a little sketchy, doesn't it? Like, it makes you wonder why any seller would ever want that to begin with. But again, many agents push this because it benefited them. Well, now all of that has changed. And essentially, this renders exclusive listings pretty much useless because it has removed an agent's ability to publicly market an exclusive listing at all. That means no for sale signs, no online or print ads. And basically, the only way an exclusive listing can now be promoted is to a specific qualified buyer who's already in the market looking for similar properties. It sounds kind of crazy, right? But the idea here is to level the playing field for all buyers and realtors so we all have access to the same properties. Now, if you would like any more information about these changes or any of the changes that I mentioned last month in relation to the Ontario legislation, you can always check out my monthly market report for November, where I talk about the Ontario changes. Or of course, you can contact me directly with the information listed below. And I'm always more than happy to send you a copy of the new information guide, which will answer a lot of your questions, or you can send me your questions directly. Okay, now of course, if you are thinking about making a move in 2024, you can always request a free no obligation market evaluation for your home or book a buyer consultation call with me through my website to have a no pressure conversation about your options. Just click on the link below in this caption. Otherwise, please feel free to check out my other videos. And of course, I will be back next month with another updated report.